Hey guys, welcome to Ringsiders. I'm joined by the one and only, the judge, EJ Nduka. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. So whereabouts are you at the moment then?
Right now I'm still in Orlando, Florida, training, still working out.
Excellent, man. Yeah, I was doing a bit of research and stuff, and I was like fascinated. I'm only 5'6". I'm like, my God, this guy's a unit. He's like 6'8". I mean, like, holy cow, man. But
Yeah,
it's yeah, man. We're big fans. I'm really glad to have you on.
appreciate it.
So I was looking at stuff, and obviously before wrestling, before the WWE tryout, I mean, you're a man that's done a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, is that something you've always been into, the competitive sports? Is that something you've always wanted to do?
Yeah, I've since I was a kid, since I was 14 years old, I've always been into competitive sports. I've been football, basketball, track. I started a little boxing, got into MMA. Just I've always wanted to be active. I always wanted to be involved, and I love to compete.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, MMA is something I'm the same. I love MMA. I did a little bit myself. Again, probably not on your level because you know that's not me. But is that something you'd consider doing again, MMA? You know, now you're a free agent. I mean,
I always train, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu just to stay in shape. Obviously, I couldn't do it much when I was at the PC,
yeah,
but it's definitely something that helps me stay in shape, keeps me limber, keeps me young, and the competitive aspect is awesome.
yeah. I mean, obviously, before I mentioned that WWE and PC, I mean, the bodybuilding aspect as well. I mean, look at you. You've been in the Arnold Classic, the Lou Ferrigno. I
Mhm.
mean, how much goes into that? I mean, is it 100% every single day? You just got to train and train and eat and
Oh,
eat.
oh yeah, absolutely. So the bodybuilding world is like none other. It's very different because, for example, wrestling practice, even though wrestling never stops, we're physically in the gym 3-4 hours a day training, and then you go hit weights. But with bodybuilding, it's 24/7 because your diet comes into play. And so it's a lot of always thinking ahead, planning beforehand. Sometimes when you have social events, you got to be able to still bring your meal and just be cognitive of that because you're on a clock, and you've got to eat, you got to prepare your meals, you got to
Yeah,
get your training in, and it's a lot.
yeah. I've got a friend at work, and he's the same. He hits the gym in the morning before work. He hits the gym after work. He's a big,
Mhm.
big dude. But I'll
Yeah.
see him at 10:30 in the morning on a break, and he's got a tub of chicken. And
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that's some dedication, man. That really
Dedication.
is. You
That's
know,
exactly what it is.
I admire it so much. But I mean, what was it like actually competing as well in like the Arnold Classic? You know, the Lou Ferrigno as
Oh,
well.
it was amazing. The Lou Frigno was actually one of my first pro shows after I turned pro. I
Mm,
got an opportunity and got invited out in California to do that show. I placed top three
amazing.
nationally. It was an amazing show. The Arnold is always one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Actually, my first Arnold in 2016, I saw the WWE there. They had some sort of expo, and they had some matches going on.
Yeah.
I remember I think Kevin Owens was the main event. And I was like, wow, because the Arnold's that big. It's got everything. It's got bodybuilding, it's
Yeah.
got powerlifting, CrossFit, wrestling, you name it.
Yeah, I was thinking because obviously I know Triple H is a big bodybuilding fan, isn't he? And
Mhm.
I remember him doing something with Arnold. Did you ever get to meet Arnold or Lou Ferrigno as well, or were they
Oh
ever
yeah,
there?
so absolutely at the Arnold, you get to meet Arnold. He's there all the time. He's pretty accessible, really cool guy. As far as the Lou Frigno show, he was there as well. The show isn't like it's like over 2 or 3 days, so it's not like the Arnold where it's all week. So it was kind of harder to kind of chop it up with Lou, but
Yeah.
they're both really cool guys, and they're very accessible.
Yeah, I mean Arnold, I've seen you see videos and stuff, and he always comes across like this really friendly guy who you can
Yeah.
approach. I mean, he's the Terminator. I mean, come
Oh
on,
yeah.
you know. And then Lou Ferrigno, I mean, it's the Incredible Hulk. You can't go wrong,
Mhm.
man, can you? But
Exactly. Yeah.
I do remember. Obviously, yeah, I've seen a few things with like the WWE at the Arnold because of
Mhm.
Triple H and things like that.
Right.
Did you ever get to speak with Triple H about the Arnold Classic?
Not really. We didn't talk much about bodybuilding, but I know he is a big bodybuilding fan, and
Yeah.
obviously from his physique, you can tell he's pretty serious about it and knows
Oh
a
yeah.
lot about it.
He is, man. Yeah, I mean, this will make me look like an idiot. I remember 20 odd years ago when I first decided to go to the gym, I used to think I was Triple H. You know, I have the water. In my head, when I'm working out, I'm like, yeah, I look like Triple H now. And I'm like, 20 years later, I look nothing like that at all.
I think we all used to do that as a kid with the water.
All the time. Yeah, all the time. Yeah, I didn't think it'd just be me. But obviously, speaking of WWE, I know you football, basketball. Was you always a wrestling fan growing up?
Oh, yeah. When I was a kid, back then it was AOL. And AOL, my first screen name was Jabroni. I didn't care if it was a bad word. I didn't care what it was. I was just such a huge Rock fan. I was like, yeah, I'm a jabroni. I'm part of it. And, I grew up during the Attitude Era. So, I fell in love with The Rock, Stone Cold, some of a Taker, Kane. I was a huge Scotty, Hotty, Too Cool fan, like all of those guys. Like, it was crazy that, every day I come into work, I get to see these people that I grew up watching and, just wow.
Well, that's it. I mean, obviously, before I mention your tryout, obviously, the people that are accessible at the PC, someone that we haven't really got to speak about before with other guests is Scotty Too Hotty, because I believe he's working there. Yeah. I mean, as a Too Cool fan, what was it like getting to obviously learn from him?
Oh man, Scotty is one of the best. Such a good person, full of knowledge. He's the guy with all the creative juice going. Yeah. He looks at you and he just, it's. With Scotty, it's not just like a cookie cutter formula. He looks at you, looks at your strengths. He looks at what you can do well, and he kind of hones in. He quizzes you. It's like, oh, how could you do this better, or how could you do this? And it's just constant growth. And he's just such a good person. It's so relatable that he's one of my favorite coaches there.
Yeah, no, I'm so happy that he's kind of back there in that kind of role, because he is. He's a very underrated talent. I think one of my favorite matches of all time.
So creative. I don't think he gets enough credit for how creative he was. I think he was before his time. Like, he was super creative.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, one of my favorite matches was Scotty versus Dean Malenko, Backlash 2000. And obviously, we all know how good Dean Malenko is, but I remember watching that match and this is incredible. It's like a 20-25 minute match, but Scotty was holding his own with Dean Malenko. You had like The Rock versus Triple H main event. And I'm like, I remember Scotty Too Hotty versus Dean Malenko.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a testament to how talented he is. It really is. I mean, how did the tryout come about? Then obviously you've got the background. How did you get the call? Was it a phone call? Do you want to come for a tryout?
So it was actually because of Scotty. So I had started tagging. So basically, I used my social media to kind of get into the WWE's ear. I was tagging the WWE, NXT, a few of the coaches, and then I finally got in contact. And he said, "Hey, are you serious about this?" And I said, "Yeah." And then a few weeks later, I was in touch with Kenyon, and Kenyon set me up with a tryout. And I came out to a tryout.
Amazing. Yeah, well, again, there we go. Scotty Too Hotty, man. It's a big deal. I mean, how tough are them tryouts? Because we spoke to a few people that have had tryouts and they've said they're brutal. I mean, you've obviously had the background with all the sports you've played. Was it still brutal for you taking that?
No question. That tryout was real life. It was no joke. Like, from the drills to the running to getting in and out, everything was a hustle, and you have to learn. You have to have the ability to learn and do things safely. So me coming into the world, I knew about wrestling, but I had never been in the ring. I hadn't done rolls. I hadn't done run the ropes or anything like that. But I was athletic enough to hold my own. So with those things in combined, and plus like learning, some of the spots, the roles, and the role of the day, it was a lot, and it was super competitive. So, you're giving, I know for a fact, I was giving 110%. Yeah. And I know I gave it all. Those 3 days, I was exhausted.
Oh man, I can imagine. I've taken a few bumps myself, but that's about it. I mean, what was that first bump like for you?
I played football since I was 7 years old, so I've been smacked around. That first bump was like, okay, yeah, all right, let's do this. It's definitely like, okay, let's wake up. We're here now. It's no joke, but it's something I've been used to combat sports my whole life.
Yeah, because like a few people we spoke to again, and then they've mentioned as well hitting the ropes. You don't realize, that takes it out of you.
That was the one that really surprised me, because those ropes are unforgiving. They forgive nobody. And so after that first day, I had the 3 lines in the back of my lats, and they were super sore and tight because, you know, hitting those ropes, if you don't hit them right, they're going to hit you. You know what I'm saying? So,
There's a certain way of hitting them. If I'm right, isn't there? You've got to hit it in the right spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and
man.
it's a lot of technique with it too.
God. I mean, obviously, as well, we have the Performance Centre now, which is incredible. I know we've got one here in the UK as well now. We've got the Performance Centre in London.
Yeah.
But for someone getting in, you had your tryout, you've signed. How good was it having something like the PC to be at every single day?
I mean, I don't think there's anywhere else that's even comparable, because you're there. When you first start off, you train, I believe, 4 or 5 days every day. You're learning all the details, nooks and crannies of wrestling. You're learning the history. And it's just like, it's a wrestling world. You're just learning it all. And that's your job, you know? And so some people come in like myself, you just take it all in. And then you go over and beyond and just kind of learn as much as you can. And then there's others that come in and they come from the indie world. Yeah. So they're kind of familiar with it. They're like, you can kind of tell, they're like, all right, let's get to the good, you know, let's pass all, you know, but it's bar none. I mean, there's a reason why it's there. It's a state-of-the-art facility. And it's just, it's like a utopia of wrestling.
Nah, it's incredible. Have you ever, I've got to be honest as well, I mean, they have guest trainers, don't they? And people like that. Have you ever marked out at any guest trainer? Is there anyone that you've marked out at?
Oh yeah. Oh man, when Cena came, Edge, Taker, Mark Henry, Nash, all of them. When they came, I was like, whoa. Yeah. And the thing is, they didn't just come to show face, they came with a wealth of knowledge. Yeah. A lot of them took time out of their day to meet with us. We could literally go sit in a conference room, talk as long as we want, kind of bounce ideas off of them. And this is all before the pandemic. Yeah. When the pandemic hit, things really changed. It wasn't like it used to be. And I was there, I think, 3-4 months before the pandemic hit. So I got a nice taste. But then when the pandemic hit, everything kind of changed, you know, with the traveling and being able to communicate with people. And there was a long time where we couldn't even go to the PC. So I really enjoyed that pre-pandemic era where everybody was so accessible. Yeah. We did things as a group, as a unit. We had open gym, open ring, which we could come, you know, pick the minds of some of the vets that were there. We had people like, you know, Street Profits who are always helping, Damian Priest, Riddle was always there to help out while learning at the same time. It was a really incredible time. And then when the pandemic happened, it shook a lot of things up.
Yeah, I mean, how did I say that? But I mean, from a training standpoint as well, how badly did that affect you? Because like you said, there's no PC to go to, but like shows that on the road, because I'm guessing NXT, you know, you was learning on the road with the house shows that I'm presuming. So, I mean, how difficult was that when that stopped?
COVID's, I mean, that's the main reason why I'm pretty much out of a job with the WWE right now. COVID set us all back months. I think it was like, I don't remember. It's like, like 5-6 months we went without even stepping in the ring. And a lot of us were brand new, we're green. So it was like even more detrimental for us because, you know, we are not getting the reps. We're not getting that crowd experience. Yeah. But fortunately enough, I still took it upon myself. Like, you know, Reggie that you guys see on TV. Yeah, man. Him and I, since day one of the pandemic, we were outside. The gyms were closed. We were running sprints. We're working out. We worked out with Ricochet too. We would go to the gym, like, you know, Devon's gym. Shout out to Devon for giving us the opportunity. 2.0. Anywhere we could go, we would go train. We trained with people from other promotions. I learned a lot from Moose, from Impact, because he was another big guy that was pretty athletically gifted, similar background as me. Him and I quickly became friends, and I started, you know, picking his mind. Yep. I would watch film with them, him, Ricochet, Reggie, all of us would get together and we just, basically just do what we could, the intangibles, the stuff that we couldn't control, we didn't worry about. But what we could control is watching film, getting ring time when we can and safely. And you see what happened with Reggie. He wasn't even at the PC long before he went straight to the main roster.
I love him, man. He's so good.
So entertaining. So entertaining.
He really is. He really is.
And such a good person too.
Yeah, man. But a guy you missed is Moose. Like you said, he's played. Well, I've seen his promos. There's nothing I can't do. He's played every sport and been successful. And I saw your tweet about who do you want me to face when I'm, is Moose on that list?
I mean, anybody can get it. The judge fears nobody, So yeah, definitely I would love to work with Moose. There's a number of guys out there that I would love to work with. And that might not be something that's so far-fetched. It may be something that you guys could look forward to.
I hope so, man. I really do. But I mean, obviously you mentioned the release. Did it come as a shock to you then, or was it something you were expecting? Yeah.
I mean, every time I met with Kenyon, it was either a good meeting or I was getting a raise. So when I came into work Wednesday at 8 a.m., I'm still waking up. I just walk in the PC. I'm getting ready to go get ready, put my shoes on, my boots and everything. And one of the assistants says, "Hey, EJ, you have a meeting today?" I said, "No, I didn't have a meeting on my schedule." She's like, "Oh yeah, Kenyon wants to talk to you." So then I start smiling because anytime I talk to Kenyon, I'm getting a raise. So I'm smiling ear to ear. And he comes to the door and he's kind of like, he wasn't smiling. He was kind of really like serious. Yeah. So I'm like, what the hell is going on here? So, I follow him back to the conference room and he looks at me and he basically says, this is one of the hardest releases I've done, but we're going to have to let you go. I thought I was on candid camera. I thought Ashton Kutcher was going to come out. At first, I literally think I said, quit playing. I said, stop playing. And then I start like looking around in my seat thinking like, the cameras are going to come out because we rib each other all the time. Yeah. Although Kenny and I don't have that relationship where like I play pranks on him, but that's kind of the thing that we do. The boys do at the PC, like in our downtime, we joke around. So I thought I was getting ripped. Like I wholeheartedly, but then he sat back and he kind of started getting a little red. And I was like, are you serious right now? And he was like, yeah. And I said, why? And he says, budget cuts. And I'm like, what? Like it took me literally like 5 minutes to kind of process it because everything that I've heard up until that point was how athletic I was, my charisma, how well I was picking things up. And so it kind of caught me off guard big time. I was totally blindsided.
Yeah, I mean, it shocked us because obviously we've been following you as well. And we read a few of the news reports coming out, and all the news reports were saying that your release, people backstage, yours was the most shocking to people backstage out of everyone that was released.
Right.
I mean, it's a testament to how good you are, man. Like you said, how you picked it up, but I don't envy Canyon having to be the man that, breaks that news, but it's happened. What's the future hold? I mean, the future's bright, man.
Very bright. Honestly, and I said it before, man, first of all, I'm so grateful for all the support that I've gotten from guys on the main roster to guys on NXT, just reaching out, my coaches calling me like within the hour after I got released, is just, telling me keep my head up, don't quit. I'm literally built for this business. This happens a lot. Sometimes people just get messed up in the shuffle, but he said, with your work ethic, your determination, we see no reason why you can't be the star that everyone knows you can be. Some of the main roster people that maybe said hi and bye to reaching out, just giving me words of affirmation, words of encouragement. If I needed anything, to reach out to them. So all that was really awesome. And then on Twitter, the world of trolls, I'm getting like all these thousands of followers, messages, DM, just encouraging. And I was like, whoa, this is, you're used to, I have a lot of followers on Instagram. My Twitter is starting to get there because I never really used Twitter, but now I'm really active on it. And all you really see is a lot of trolls, people making fun of each other and all that stuff. But to see this was like, okay,
Yeah.
we're onto something. And then compounded with my wife, my beautiful wife, who basically looked at me in my eyes and said, you know, I expect you to bounce back from this because I know who you are. I know you can bring what you bring to the table, and I know how hard you work. And I know you're gonna be fine, babe. So it wasn't even like 1 or 2 days where I was getting a lot of messages from like promotions and different bookings, appearances, and all I know is the WWE, and we can't do that when we're in the WWE. So I had to reach out to some of the, my buddies who have done that route and kind of, ask them, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Here are my options. But it's really, really refreshing to just have all this attention and have all this, companies wanting to work with you.
Yeah, it's deserved, man. I say we see a massive future. So the fact that you agreed to come on was huge to us because we literally think you're going to be a megastar wherever you go. And now, I mean, is that the plan? Are you going to hit the indies?
Oh yeah. So the plan is to be a megastar, whether I go the indies or I go to a smaller promotion. When that clock strikes zero, you better believe the judge is going to be ready. And there's a lot of things that's happening right now. Obviously, I can't really dive into the details because of the legality of everything. But the good things are coming. A lot of good things coming. You guys will see the judge sooner than later. I'm not going to stop working because that's all I know, because the judge doesn't know slow. So I'm going to go full speed, and I'm going to give it my all.
Hell yeah, man. Hey, when the world opens up, maybe we'll see you over here in the UK as well.
Oh, absolutely. I've always wanted to come back. Well, I've always wanted to work in the UK. Yeah. I've been there, I have family there, but just to work there, the fans are awesome. I love watching NXT UK. I love the chants you guys got. It's you guys get wild in there, and that energy is what the judge feeds off of. I love that energy.
That's it, man. And it's amazing how many people always say that to us about the UK crowds, because those chants that they start are literally on the spot.
Yeah.
Like even I'm in the crowd sometimes. I'm like, how would they come up with that? It's just like,
and everybody's so in sync too.
Yeah. Then everyone joins in. It's incredible, man. It is. So yeah, we'd love to see you over here, man. It's the scene over here is was fantastic till COVID hit. We are very quietly getting a few shows booked in again now. So fingers crossed at some point, man, we'll see the judge over here.
Oh, that's right. And it's almost a blessing in disguise because this is the tail end of the pandemic. And like you said, things are opening up again.
Yeah, man.
And so things are going to shake this summer. Things will shake.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I can't thank you enough. But before I do let you go, I mean, do you want to let everyone know where they can find you? Any merchandise? I know you've got pro wrestling.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You guys can find me on Twitter. It's at EJ the Judge. My Instagram is just EJ_. I just released last night 3 brand new t-shirts on ProWrestlingTees.com. It's ProWrestlingTees.com/EJudge. We got some pretty dope shirts, cool colorways, and I'm gonna keep you guys drippy and looking fresh this summer. So come check your boy out, and I appreciate all the support. You guys have been awesome, and better believe that the judge has every plan on being the megastar that everybody believes I can.
Hell yeah, man. And I've been paid today, so I'm going to go and treat myself to a t-shirt as well.
Oh, nice. I appreciate that, man.
But, dude, I can't thank you enough. Hopefully we'll get you back on when the world opens up, when you're out there more. But for now, the judge, EJ Nduka, thank you so much, man.
No problem. Thank you for having me. It means a lot, man.